Hello, Dad. This is Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast, and today's topic is this: new dads, those first days and weeks. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Nico, and you're listening to my dad, Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast. Thanks for listening.
Yep. All right, so the last episode that I did was for you new dads that are dealing with your very first night at home with your baby, which can be overwhelming because everything's so new and you're responsible and you might not have any idea what you're doing, which you probably don't if you're a new dad. You're not expected to. There's no manual, right? But the first few days and weeks certainly gets easier than that first night for sure, because you got one night under your belt at least. But those first few days and weeks, they're tough, Dad. They're tough. I'm not saying that to freak you out if you're a new dad or a dad-to-be, but they are. And I want to just be real about it so that when you're in that period and you're in the trenches and you're feeling like it's hard and oh my God, what did I do? And oh my God, life was so much easier when there wasn't this baby. And of course you love your kiddo, your son or your daughter, and they're super cute and you're excited to be a dad and have a family, all those things. But when you're dealing with the sleep deprivation and the worry and the stress and the 1.5 million things to do, it's hard. It's super hard. So this first few days and weeks, like, your job with your wife is to just not get through it, because that's kind of pessimistic, that it's just something to get through, but to, just hour by hour, day by day, do what you have to do and take everything off your plate as you can. In that time, I only took a week off of work, and then the next 2 weeks I went back kind of part-time seeing patients. And because as a chiropractor I am self-employed, and if I wasn't working I wasn't making money. And when my son was born, things were tight, so I had to go back to work, and I do regret that. I wish I was around more, even though I was gone for only 2 days out of the 5 of the work week. It's still those are hard days, and I wanted to be home. I wanted to be loving on my kiddo, and I wanted to be helping out his mom as much as possible, but it just wasn't possible. So if your job has paternity leave, definitely take it. I've been talking with more and more dads, at least here in the state of California. There's a lot more available if you're employed for paternity leave. Might not be full paid time off, but it's at least partial. And from what some of the dads are doing, this might be something for you to check out, is taking a couple weeks at first and then doing some part-time stuff for a little while, and then after a month or so take another couple weeks, because in the first couple weeks there's just a lot of adrenaline and a lot of stress getting up to speed. And then honestly, sometimes it's nice to go back to work for a little while because it's just easier. Even if you don't think you have an easy job, work's way easier than having a newborn. But then that gives mom a time to kind of bond on her own and sort things out while you're at work. And then if she goes back to work, or even if she's not, a month, 6 weeks in, taking another couple weeks is a really nice time for the family. If she's home too still, then you guys are all together doing stuff, and then you can be home with kiddo, and mama might be able to go out and do some stuff, reconnect with some friends or do yoga or something for herself, because she's been with the baby the whole time. Or if she's back to work, then that gives you a time to be by yourself with kiddo the whole time. That could be great. So with those first few days and weeks, I just want you to really understand that newborn care is hard. They're on a 4-hour Groundhog Day, 4-hour cycle where it's just the same thing over and over, where, you change they feed, you change their diaper, they're up for a little while, and then they go to sleep, hopefully, and then they wake up way before you want them to, and you start it all over again. And it's just the same thing. The monotony of it can be really tedious, and especially because those cycles, it's only 4 hours at a time, and baby's not sleeping typically for more than like 2.5, 3 hours. Sometimes you'll get longer stretches if you're lucky, but most of the time you're in intermittent sleep land. So if you're really good at things and you're actually getting lots and lots of rest, which most people don't, like, you're still only getting like 3-hour chunks at a time, and you might sleep, say, 8 hours over a 24-hour period of time, but it's not the same as like your head hitting the pillow and 8 hours later waking up. Intermittent sleep is hard, but that's going to be the way of things for the next few weeks, maybe even the next couple months. Depending on how feeding is going, depending on how long baby sleeps during the night. It's not typical for baby to sleep through the night for months and months. So if your baby's not doing that, nothing's wrong with them. That's just the way things are. You're going to hear stories of people like, oh, my baby slept through the night at 2 months through, and you're going to say, all right, well, teach me everything that you know, because my baby's not doing that at all. I had that exact conversation. It was 4 months in, and Nico was waking up in the night, and they, so I said, right, so what are you doing? I'll do it, whatever it takes. And they said, well, the baby still wakes up 2 or 3 times a night to feed, but it goes right back to sleep, so they're sleeping through the night. I'm like, that ain't sleeping through the night. Sleeping through the night's what I just said. Your head hits the pillow, baby goes down to sleep, they wake up in the morning, and Nico was doing that. He'd wake up and feed and then go back to sleep. But that intermittent sleep can make, at least for me, I felt like depressed. I feel that way when I get tired, so I didn't really think I was having a male postpartum depression, which I didn't even know was a thing when my son was born, but now, having learned from in my career, that's actually a thing. So, but I know that I was just super tired, and when I get tired and I get feeling depressed, you start to feel like, oh my God, this is never going to change. I'm never going to feel rested. It's never going to be easy. What did we do? All those kind of things. But I will say that the first 3 months is the absolute hardest because of the reasons why I just said. Everything's new. The monotony, the tediousness of the routine, and the intermittent sleep, it's the absolute hardest. But it gets easier and easier every day and every week that goes by. And I see it time and time again that at the 3-month mark, parents are coming into my office and they just look different. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Baby's sleeping better, hopefully. You're sleeping better, so you're feeling more rested. Baby's lived for 3 months. You kept them alive, so you did something right. And they seem way more resilient than they did when they were newborns, and they were just these fragile little delicate things. And you have a confidence about you because you've kind of learned your baby better. When they need to change, the routine of, oh, they're fussy because they need to eat. And then when they feed, they'll feel better. All those things make a difference in you being able to get through the days. Usually at 3 months too, in a typical situation, dad's back to work. So there's kind of a groove, kind of getting back to, that regular routine that makes you feel kind of more normal. Even though the new family is a great addition, it's also a big transition. And also mom might be back to work as well by that point. So there's more of a schedule where you have your workday life, and then before going to work and after work is definitely different than it was before because you have a newborn and a baby to take care of. But also there's something in the infinite wisdom of baby development. There's something at the usually 2 and definitely 3 month mark where baby starts smiling at you. And I swear that's divine intervention there of, all right, these parents are having a really hard time for these first 2 months. They're starting to lose it. they're starting to really crack. So I'm gonna get this kid to start smiling at them, and then everything will be okay. And somehow it is. You could have a horrible night where they're fuzzy and it took them an hour to fall back asleep, and then you fall asleep and they're up an hour later. But then in the morning, somehow they're rested, but they like smile at you and it's all okay. Like, I don't even remember what happened last night. My kid just smiled at me. It's awesome. So I say all these things again to reiterate, not to freak you out, dads-to-be, if you're still in the pregnancy and the birth hasn't happened, just so that I plant a seed that it is tough. That's the realness of it. I'm not trying to be a doomsday or anything like that. It's just hard. It just is. And every parent will tell you the exact same thing. Just somehow we don't talk about it nearly as much. So I want to talk about it as much as possible so that you dads hear it, so that when you're in it, you don't feel like you're the only one. You don't feel that something's necessarily wrong. And you don't feel that there is no light at the tunnel, because there is. There's a big light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to get easier and easier, more and more fun. Every stage comes with its own challenges, but it becomes easier and easier compared to those first 3 months. So hopefully this message you hear loud and clear. If you've been through it before and some dads are commenting about getting ready for it and you have something to share, please do. That's what we're doing. We're dads supporting dads. So until next time, let's make sure you take care of yourself, take good care of your families, and we'll connect on the next episode.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. You can hang out with other dads in our Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for the Dadhood Journey, and apply to get in. See you there, and see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Perfect.
There you go, Dan.